Reconfiguring Parenthood, How to Cultivate a Home Made of Harmony, Encouragement, Creativity, and Healthy Structure. We must start with a disclaimer. To every adult with a child in your care, please understand that if you feed the child processed or greasy products, refined sugars, dairy, soda, and other toxic foods, this discourse will not effectively suffice. At the fundamental level, if you are not fully aware that you are harming the child by doing this, you are not ready for these basic teachings, as the vessel sinks rather than floats when given things that create holes at its mental, physiological, and emotional core. Unnatural sugar is the crack cocaine of childhood. It impairs the growth of the child's brain, damages their teeth, and makes it difficult for them to be focused, calm in nature, clear-minded, academically and interpersonally successful, and to live in optimal health. It's not about moderation of fake or refined sugars. It's about eliminating these unnecessary poisons so that sweet treats are enjoyed through organic fruits and other pure sources. Dairy causes inflammation, congestion, and digestive problems. It is the number one culprit of a phlegmy child, a nasally clogged child, a child battling a sore throat or ear infection, a child with a persistent cough, bowel issues, fatigue, etc. In order to go further and gain from these teachings, every parent must begin here, or we fail our little ones in ways that are detrimentally unfair and easily avoidable. An imperative first step is touching on what you personally imbibe and how much you care about your family's well-being beyond your own yet-to-be-conquered cravings or addictions to caffeine, nicotine, salt, sugar, fast food, etc. Even issues of control can show up in the way that you eat. It depends on how stubborn, how resistant, or how open you are to prioritizing what you put into your body and what you allow your children to put into theirs. A parent whose eating habits contradict their teachings and clash with what is offered to and expected for the children to consume is confusing for the child in ways that consequently circle back to the parent. This one thing cannot be emphasized enough. Walk the talk. Exhibit healthy habits, and children will do as you teach through your example. Without this crucial disclaimer about nutritional intake, a child's life is at a tremendously higher risk of dis-ease. Everything else you attempt may prove to be a train wreck because the child's functional abilities are compromised from the food you choose to feed them and make available in the home. Now, let's begin. Rather than reviewing strategies and techniques for parents to use with their children to tame impulse control issues, hyperactiveness, outbursts of anger, rebelliousness, attention-seeking acts, whatever it is that makes the child unruly in your eyes or stressful to raise, a nuisance to your home life, instead, I go toward looking at and redesigning the parent's version of domestic life. How does your home life flow? What does it consist of? What are the foundational values being reinforced? Is there order and comfort, efficiency, and healthy stimulation? Because children are responding to what you, as the parent or guardian, are emanating. They are molding to the shape of your frequency, your tones, your practices, your reactiveness, your connection or lack thereof to life. So it is about how you balance yourself, how awakened you are to the giant responsibility of child rearing. It's not about bringing in more toys to keep them engaged, or more TV and video game time, or iPad time to keep them busy and non-disruptive, or more scheduled extracurricular activities to keep them in doing mode from morning until evening with school, sports, music lessons, in the hopes that they're tired out and easily fall asleep every night, with perhaps little more than a quick check to make sure they did their homework and brushed their teeth. This is about accurately assessing and reconfiguring how you operate, how you run your house, and the impact that that has upon these little ones. Firstly, raise the child you have, not the child you want to have, as parents sometimes subconsciously want to mold the child to be like them or be how they prefer a child of theirs to turn out. It's important to honor your child's blueprint, the embedded map of their soul. The child's life will have its own texture, its own details, its own themes and destiny, its own rhythm. And when the opportunity to really hear and sync with that one-of-a-kind rhythm is delayed in childhood, the longer it takes to deprogram as an adult, if one is blessed with clear realization that there are layers to unravel, and then begins the journey towards their true life, independent of intensely negative or diminishing familial and societal influences. Affirm who your child is as they grow into greater awareness of themselves and their connection to the whole. This leads to good self-esteem, moral conduct, and inner peace. Parents who are less conscious of their child's habits, they tend to have habits that the child is emulating. The parent is often repeating the toxic behavior that their grandparents, their teachers, or their parents imposed upon them. You may exert aggression because you know you're physically stronger and bigger than the child, you're vocally louder, you're mentally smarter than the child, but this produces a forced compliance, a fear-based obedience. What you're doing is energetically beating the child into submission. This isn't treating the brand new human as sacred. This isn't demonstrating basic awareness that the child is innocent. Innocence means purely a lack of knowledge. This isn't acknowledging the obvious that the child doesn't have an established history of trial and error behind them to form their conduct, their discernment, their cognitive patterns, their soul's refinement. So when parents default into yelling, manipulating, shaming, these are tactics that first of all seem quicker and easier to shut the kid up, stop the undesirable behavior, cease the perceived inconvenience the child caused. But it indicates that you, the parent, have not evolved into loving and intelligent operating modes, and that these unevolved defaults of yelling, manipulating, guilt-tripping, shaming, forcefully reprimanding, or being condescending all reduce the child's intuitive faculties, their freedom to explore and to comfortably exist and discover what their special journey is all about. And from there, insecurities abound, which we all know can lead to future addictions, spiritual oppression, emotional stuntedness, an underdeveloped will. The list goes on. We can collectively agree we don't want this, but all that really matters is what parents are doing to cultivate a home where the primary frequency of that home is harmony, creativity, encouragement, and healthy structure. How can you tell if your home is missing these essential components? Children tense up, they act out, they struggle to function appropriately, and they don't seem happy. Children naturally want to listen and learn when there are safe, loving spaces for them to do so. What does this look like in real terms? Let's start with cultivating harmony. Harmony is flowing along pleasantly from day to night, honoring one another's different personalities and interests by finding ways to connect that create common ground and emotional intimacy. Because where there is trust, there is open sharing and transparency. Where there is understanding in the home, there is support and compassion towards growing, towards moving forward from challenging circumstances with resilience and clarity, and becoming better equipped for the next inevitable time that there's something difficult to to navigate. You must create common ground and emotional intimacy if you want to flow pleasantly from day to night in a home with different energies, different personalities, different interests. How do parents who are rooted in their ways successfully make room for new neural pathways, new levels of patience and serenity and humor about the dance of life, especially at home with the people closest to them? It starts with learning stress management. You cannot avoid stressful situations, but you can have a plethora of tools to choose from in diffusing, resolving, or being present with the unpleasant, heavier moments and seasons of life. Be comfortable saying no and doing so without any anger. Divine assertion is a calm and firm no, without debate, further discussion, explanation, or feelings of guilt. Take frequent breaks, which can include taking yourself on a date, having lunch with friends, finding a support group or a village of parents who have the same goals, connecting with a therapist, working out, going walking, getting a spa treatment, visiting a reflexology clinic, which tends to be less expensive than getting a massage, taking a luxurious bubble bath with essential oils, soothing tea, and a good book. Take inventory of who is doing chores and redistribute tasks as needed to lighten your load. If it's your job that ranks highest on your stress meter, book that appointment with a headhunter or start your new business with the help of college students who'd like to earn volunteer credits in their chosen field of study. There's no limit to how you can manage stress and customize and curate every part of your life, one piece at a time, until shifting the entire frequency of your home and your children's behavior and their relationship with you. A big key is to write down your top priorities above anything else and design every part of your daily life around those priorities, so that if something doesn't honor, support, nourish, or align with the ideal tones in the orchestra of your preferred domestic oasis, it isn't given as much attention, care, time, or energy. When children see that their parents are living soulfully, when they see that there's lots of laughter, when they see how you handle the unexpected, unfavorable parts of life with groundedness and logic, with grace and optimism, with constant trust that the natural course of events are serving something more divine and grand than what we know in the moment, when they see that you have a variety of go-to methods when you're upset, when they see all of this with consistency, they will have a carved out, crystal clear compass where they can know which way to go, which mood to shift into, which perspective to choose, which action to take, because their lead influential figures, the folks who feed and guide their body minds, who make decisions on their behalf, have their unique blueprint at the forefront of their consciousness, and who know that harmony comes from honoring that blueprint while still honoring the priorities that you predetermine as essential in upholding the frequency of the home. Harmony is one gem in the treasure chest of cultivating a safe, loving space for your children to be at ease, naturally want to listen and learn, and be maximally inspired to do good and live well. Find doable ways for you to manage stress. Write down your top priorities and base your daily life around those priorities, and give it upwards of 90 days for the children to see that this is the new vibe and you're not going backwards. They will acclimate. Let's discuss creativity. Creativity is a necessary key in cultivating an elevated, inspiring frequency in your home for children to enjoy. It also keeps your own inner child alive and tapped into the mystery and magic of life for all the overly cerebral intellects with kids, the less mystically inclined, if you will. Mystery and magic are only invisible when you're not putting your awareness on it. Write a fiction book with your children. Make up songs, play instruments, put on a family play, dress up in costumes, dance around, bake something without any measuring cups, go treasure hunting in the neighborhood, tell jokes, make jewelry, design clothing using fabrics and sewing tools, upcycle things, start a garden and paint rocks to decorate around the area where food, flowers, or herbs grow. Ask questions during mealtime that stimulate the child's creativity. Facilitate play dates with their friends which involve scavenger hunts, or be altruistically creative, whereby they make sandwiches to give to the homeless with you, or cookies to take to an elderly care facility. Do puzzles, drawing, photography, build structures. A life without playing and creating is not a life well lived. Creativity is a must in the overall dynamic of a child's home life. Get creative about all the ways you can foster creativity for your impressionable, eager to expand little ones who look up to you. Let's discuss encouragement. Encouragement in the home is not coddling and celebrating every time the child colors within the lines or wipes their own bottom thoroughly or doesn't hit their sibling. Encouragement is living demonstratively and knowing that the power of the way you live causes emulation. The home should be a space that encourages inquiry, age-appropriate and thought-provoking discussion, artistic expression, and respect for one's solitude. Let's talk about that last one for a moment. Solitude, rather than solitude, is the opportunity for the child to experience internal reflection. It's imperative to disconnect from states of chronic mental alertness, technological and societal stimuli, and conversational or virtual feedback loops. It is a requirement for balance. It is a need of the soul. Hence the new word, solitude, a part of life to be normalized and encouraged. Otherwise, parents are unknowingly creating attachment and dependency that don't serve the child's well-being. As long as you know the child is safe in terms of their environmental whereabouts, there should be as much benefit from communing as a family as there is in solitude, so that the child is shown through your example how contemplation is an art form, how rest is invigorating, how lovely it can be to listen to music by yourself, just being alive and letting our mind take a back seat, allowing our imaginational selves to create the moment, create an interesting adventure from the blank page of alone time that we gift ourselves. An encouraging home is one where the way in which parents live is the prominent factor that encourages the child to emulate how you unwind, how you generate energy, how you cope, how you conduct yourself socially, morally, ethically, how you uphold your boundaries, how you eat, how you tend to your body, how you have fun, and on and on. If the parent's livity is righteous and encouraging, the child will act righteously and encourage others. Let's discuss healthy structure. This can include gathering for dinner as a family, every evening, a ritual which is sometimes all a busy family can do at first. If this one form of healthy, structured togetherness can be maintained, that's a good base for the children to rely on. An intentionally unrushed, nutritional, conversational meal at the end of the day. Unrushed, nutritional, and conversational. Also segmented calm time at some point every day for yoga, painting, quietly reading or having story time together, writing poetry or journaling, meditating, praying, discussing biblical wisdom. The child can choose from what is made available to them through the sketch pads, the canvases, the coloring items, the library of books inside the home, the designated spaces on the porch, a sitting nook in the house, but to repeat intentional calm time every day, especially with little ones, that now it's time for quietude and that less distraction, less noise is immensely enjoyable. They will look forward to this time every day if you set the precedent. They'll know what their options are. They'll have the freedom to gravitate towards whatever they wish. And it becomes a regular part of the day, just like eating and using the bathroom. Now, less frequent rituals are wonderful too, like monthly bonfires outside to employ the power and beauty of nature to refresh the connective tissue of the family unit in a fun and clearing way. As the fresh air clears our mind, the flames of a fire can produce more focus and awe. And whether it's storytelling with their elders, passing a talking stick to share whatever one would like to share, the point is healthy, structured togetherness. Healthy structure is also time for physicality, whether walking or bicycling as a family, swimming if you have access to a pool, having dance parties in the home. There must be designated portions of the day allotted for the intentional movement of energy. Make it meaningful, make it relevant to the child's blueprint, their personality and interests. These rituals, these intentionally designated times for healthy structure that cover physical movement, mental and emotional calmness, and quality togetherness are ways that work to have a safe, loving space where children thrive. It's disciplined and fulfilling. It's intrinsically rewarding to be part of, and it's supportive to the child's innate desire to listen, learn, and belong. Essentially, we are establishing and honoring the most important priorities that then everything else is based upon, that support a flourishing family life. This brings things back to the least complicated, least cluttered, least mental, most soulful ways to parent. And parenting should be a very human thing. Parenting should not be a burdensome, mechanical, overly planned, rigid, or psychologically harmful endeavor. It should be an intentional world that contributes to a beautiful universe of conscious, caring, content beings. It starts with you. Parents who learn to create a home where the frequency is one of harmony, encouragement, creativity, and healthy structure bring the vibrations of the family unit closer to the Most High. When parents learn how to flow, how to be loving and tuned into their child's blueprint, they are exponentially making a positive impression upon the child's psyche, showing what it means to be joyful, to alchemize the mundane into magic, and provide safe, loving spaces for the child to listen and learn, participate mindfully and willingly, and grow up to carry on such traditions.